Hi, and welcome to this edition of Link to Logansport Schools. Today we're going to be at Columbia Middle School talking about technology within our school corporation. Joining me on this edition of Link to Logansport Schools is Mr. Kyle Dibble, Technology Director for the School Corporation. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you, and we're glad to talk about a subject that seems like no matter what you do, it's changing every day. So it's like trying to hit a moving target all the time, but I think we're really on the right path here in our school corporation, trying to provide the technology that our students need to be successful and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So having said that, we have implemented some things in the classroom as far as interactive whiteboards. And so what opportunities have teachers had, or do they have, to use those in the classrooms, and exactly where are they?
Right now we've actually completed K through 5. Every classroom has an interactive whiteboard. Mm-hmm. There's two different models, but we won't go into technical detail there.
Yeah. It's confusing for us non-technology folks.
Correct. But one of the things that we see is it really helps with the student engagement. Mm-hmm. So if you go into the classroom and you watch any of the students working with the teacher, a lot of times the teacher will have them up there by the board, and the students can actually get up and actually interact with whatever lesson's going on. And so what they see and the feedback from the teachers is there's a lot more student engagement with the students and the teacher and with the technology. The other thing too is as we're looking forward and how to better utilize them is also assessments. Mm-hmm. A way to project something up very quickly and use the technology within that and using a clicker system, which will actually allow a teacher to get immediate feedback of how the students are doing and understanding a particular lesson or a particular module or something within a unit of a book. So those are some of the different things that we see that they use them for. So it's been the feedback has been phenomenal with how they use that. And a lot of the teachers come back and say, I don't know how I ever taught without one. Uh-huh. And don't ever take it away. So
We're almost ending the school year here, and this has been our first year of implementation of one-to-one at Logansport High School.
Yes.
Which a year ago at this time we were all, biting our nails and shaking in our shoes, like, how is this going to go off,
right,
and what's it going to look like, and we trying to predict every single thing, and so just kind of how's that gone for us? Give us a little recap.
Well, we beginning of last school year in August, we actually deployed 1,257 laptops to students at LHS, and we had some snafus at the beginning with shipment and availability of product, and but the staff and the teachers and the students rolled with the punches with us, and we got them distributed. And as just kind of a quick recap is it's gone really well this year. Mm-hmm. It's we try to plan for some of the worst case scenarios, and we've actually been pleasantly surprised of how well it's went and how well the students have been taking care of the laptops. We there's going to be breakage. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got that many devices out there. Simple things of closing something in the laptop lid. Yeah. Some droppage, accidental droppage, things like that. But we're only a little over 3%, where a lot of schools that, when we were researching this, was somewhere usually 5-8%. I've heard as high as 15% breakage. So been very proud of the students' use and and it's just a big learning curve this year. Mm-hmm. We in technology, we know that there's some changes we're going to make over the summer to the laptops to make them perform better. So that's just a learning curve, and I think teachers the second half of the year seem to be a lot more comfortable with them in the classroom than that kind of, what am I going to do with these in the class? How am I going to keep kids engaged? And I think they're finding it's going very well.
Well, and I think it's important to remember too, as we went through the process and the work that we had done to try and help us figure out what we need to we need to do, and kind of our path for where we're going and how to implement it properly is that everybody thought, okay, we're getting laptops and so all the textbooks are going to go away. Well, not right off the bat. Yeah. This is a learning curve for everybody, and you just don't get there overnight. So, I think we had a great first year of implementation, and now I think the focus really moves towards how we're going to really start to impact classroom student engagement. On an even broader scale and really help our students utilize those devices so that they're ready once they leave us, whether they're going into the workforce or going on to college. So I think it's really a step in the right direction, but it's a continuous learning curve for everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So we've done a full year of one-to-one implementation. So what do you kind of see, what are the next steps for LCSC technology?
Well, what we're looking at now is to move into, not this coming year, but the following school year, one-to-one at the middle school, and then also technology down into the elementary level as well, and what that's going to look like even beyond that. And so we're constantly just evaluating, and the market, it's changing so fast that what we're doing now at the high school, by the time we get to elementary, can be a completely different type of look and feel. So. At this point, we're just continue looking at using more and more student engagement, looking then to plan for over the next year for the middle school one-to-one. There is talk of, by middle school, I mean even down in the 5th grade to kind of help them prepare, and then looking beyond that. And whether that's a form of one-to-one in the elementary, or if it's laptop carts or some type of tablet cart, things like that. I'll just all to kind of see. And while we try to do a 3-year tech plan, I'm coming up on 3.5 years, and even what we did 2.5, 3 years ago planning, it's changed quite a bit in just 2 years. And so that's how fast technology is changing. So we kind of set some goals out there, but I think with technology, you've got to be a little bit more nimble and acceptable to how things change quickly and where things are going, and what's best for the students in LCSC.
And at every single level, the same thing isn't going to work, because what we're teaching and what kids are learning is different at every level.
Absolutely.
So while laptops might work at the high school, at the elementary level, especially when you're talking like K through 2 or something like that, it might look totally different. So I'm just trying to make sure we meet the needs of our students and our teachers in delivering instruction. And the number one key here is student engagement in learning.
Absolutely. So. And just to that level thing is that keyboarding, we have a new curriculum K through 8 with technology, but keyboarding doesn't start coming on until 2nd, 3rd. So yeah, those type of things make a big difference. Then a high school student's getting prepared for college or career, as you mentioned earlier. Our daughter, who went as a freshman, had a class K201 at IU, South Bend, and that required a big knowledge of Word and Excel and how to integrate and make reports between those two programs. A completely different level of learning and technology than what you would see down in K through 3 or 4. So absolutely.
I think it's been great that we've been able to implement the curriculum and work on it with our students at an early age, and they pick it up pretty quickly.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Now joining me on the show today is Mr. Bob Isles, 8th grade math teacher at Columbia Middle School. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome. As we're sitting here in Mr. Isles' classroom, behind me you can see we have a little board here. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about what this board is and how has it affected your teaching?
Sure. This is a Promethean Active Inspire board. It's basically like an interactive whiteboard. It connects with a computer, and so basically I use a program on my computer to kind of help me teach my math class. So, one of the things I'd really say is, student engagement is pretty high. They're technology users. They have been their whole lives. When I was in school, nothing like this was really around. They really enjoy it. It gives me a lot of interactivity that traditional, whiteboard like you kind of see around here just doesn't. I used to use chalkboards, whiteboards all the time, but with the interactive board, not only can I preload a lot of content, I can do lots of things, and I'm not limited by space because I can just open new windows, new charts. We can get on the internet. Pretty much anything you can do on a computer, we can do up there now, which is pretty cool.
Awesome. And so how do the kids respond to it?
I mean, they love it. You know, at first, and it's actually kind of interesting. Some kids, you know, they don't like getting up in front of a class. So even though they're really interested in it, they don't think it's something that they want to do maybe in front of everyone else. But they do respond pretty well. You know, you think like they like to watch, you know, TV, or they're constantly in front of, you know, some sort of a screen, whether it's a computer or an iPod. This just kind of takes that medium and brings it into a classroom. So, you know, they tend to be more focused rather than just doing book work. I can actually pull like my math book up on the computer screen and I can write on it. It's like we're writing in a textbook. It really takes their focus to what we're trying to do in class.
That's great. And I think you have some other devices that you use from time to time in class with your students. And so what are some of those?
We have, to go with the Promethean board, we have, it's called an active expression voter, and it's kind of like a clicker. If you've ever watched shows like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where they poll the audience and they're asking them, you know, like choose A, B, C, D, the audience gets to vote. They can use those to kind of go through whether it's like a classroom quiz, or we've been doing a lot of I-STEP review recently for the multiple choice test. They really like those because they get a handheld device that communicates with the board, and then we can see, like, you know, what the majority class is voting for. You know, we can do a lot with that. We also have some iPod touches that we use in class. You know, that is one where, you know, different apps, you know, across the spectrum as far as, you know, math capabilities and programs. So kind of trying to combine, you know, different forms of technology into math class, but they enjoy it.
That's exciting. And, you know, I think one of the really cool things that I always hear about, you know, using the voting devices or whatever, is that it gives you, the teacher, instant feedback.
Yes.
I know, for example, at the high school, we have a teacher who every day at the end of class, she'll have 5 questions and she has the kids vote, or not, well, they call them a vote, but they input their answers through those, and so it tells her what they took away from the lesson that day, and, you know, maybe some things that maybe she might need to go back and reteach the next day, and that's also used for the students' participation grade. So helps everybody know where everybody is, and helps the teacher get immediate feedback. It's all right there for you, and helps you design your next lesson.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the really cool things about, especially using the clickers, is, you know, I could give that paper pencil test, but then I have to like take and grade it, and that takes a lot of time. This is very, very quick. If I just want to know, do you have this skill down? Have we mastered the standard and the content? It's instantaneous. So.
It's great. Gives you more time to teach.
Yes.
Very good. Well, thanks for joining us today.
Sure. No,
and thanks for all you do for our kids.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us from Columbia Middle School on this edition of Link to Logansport Schools.